Let all cats old enough to catch their own prey gather here beneath the tall rock or whatever it's called for a clan meeting.
Miouooo, I'm Simon.
I'm Evelyn.
And I'm Australia.
Today we're going to be discussing Tallstar's Revenge, chapters 8, 9, and 10.
As always, don't forget that our spoiler policy is spoilers are fun. So I see for our follow-up we were going to revisit the exclamation rankings and see if we had more than 12 responses. Okay, we have 15 responses. And I don't remember what the results were last time.
I'm sure Marag won.
I think so, or it could have been a tie. I don't know.
So I think one of these extra responses might have been me.
Really?
So 2 of them was me.
I think 2 of them might be me as well.
What? We only got one new one?
Listen, I forget.
Well, I've only taken it once for sure. But I'm glad to see Marug and Miouooo occupy the top 2 spots.
Yeah, they're by far the best.
Yeah, Garoff in 3rd. Sure, I guess. And then Murao and Yiao tied for 4th. Pa, I don't know about Pa being second to last. I could have that even higher than Murao and Yiao.
Aw is a good one.
Yeah.
It's just not like any of the other ones.
And Garar firmly in last place.
Just doesn't have the pizzazz.
It's too normal.
Yeah.
Right. I don't remember even what we talked about last time, so that's all the follow-up I had.
I don't even remember what we talked about.
Nope.
Okay, who wants to read the quote of the week?
I mean, why don't you read it?
Okay. Grey Wing went on. The silence between us has festered like warm prey. From the first battle, chapter 18.
That is gross.
Yeah. That's... Of all the things they could choose to change it to, they had to do that. Like, it's just gross. It's not even, like, impactful. So I actually skipped over fandom news, because we didn't have anything written down, so let's go ahead and do that.
Well, 1 star's confession dropped. The 15th Super Edition. Oh my, the back version of the cover is some... It's much more...
I'll have to look on the wiki here.
haunting. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much more about it. I didn't realize that this was coming out at all. But now, here it is. It's been out for almost 2 months.
Yeah, I have not been abreast of the fandom really at all in the past 2 months. But I think I did know it was coming out. I also see Shadow will be released on April 4th.
Yeah, I think I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I'm not sure I knew that.
Oh, yeah, fans could vote on the color.
I just wish that the inherent design of the cover was better in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, there's an alternate. You can see like the other one that they were choosing between, and it is the exact same cover, just different colors. I do like the other colors, I think, more though. Oh, they also couldn't have McLeod Andrews as the audiobook narrator. I don't know if we've ever talked about the audiobooks here. I don't think you guys have listened to them at all. But
No.
In my rereading of the series, I have mostly listened to them, and it is a fantastic experience. It's like the narrator gives them like accents, some of them, that are really unpredictable and very fun. All I really remember for certain is that the tribe cats are like French for some reason. Brooke in particular is just like very French, and it's very enjoyable.
Oh, wow, that's a good idea. I should try to do that. It might be easier for you to get through all of them.
But yeah, he wasn't the narrator, which is sad.
Wow. Yeah, this new style of Super Edition covers, though. I like Moth Flight's vision, but all the rest, I feel like just look awful, and the cat was clearly just plopped in there.
It
Looks
doesn't.
completely
It's
different.
like super airbrushed and not in the zone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, looking at them all.
On the back, you can see they're really small, but they're all there. At least 8 of them, or 10 of them.
I just don't know why they changed the format that they had for the Super Editions.
Yeah, it was fine before.
Also, I feel like One Star looks like scared or something on the cover. Why are his ears back? And looking at a lot of them, their ears are back. Why are their
I
ears
know.
back? There's not a
I
natural
know.
resting pose. Oh my god. Yassified Yellow Fang. I forgot about just how bad it is. Alright. Can't go down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah. I feel like we talk about this every time.
I know, I can't get over it. I'll never move on.
There's also A Thief in ThunderClan, a graphic novel set to drop soon, featuring Cloudtail and Brightheart.
Ooh.
I don't have much to say about that.
Yeah, I haven't read any of the comics or anything like that.
Yeah, not for a while myself. Well, we're ready to dive into Chapter 8.
I suppose. Spoiler alert, I have like almost no notes on any of these chapters.
I don't have a lot either.
Yeah, I feel like I've taken a lot more notes in other places.
It's just like, okay, yeah, there's not really. Okay, sure.
Yeah, and we already talked about a lot of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Did enjoy reading these chapters. I just don't have a lot to say about them.
Yeah.
Okay. Chapter 8 Summary. Tallpaw almost beats the first level in the video game. Tallpaw runs away from the other apprentices. Then he does some battle training with Shrewpaw. He shares prey with Barkpaw, who tells him a lot of funny things he learned. And we get a new plot point because the green leaf visitors are in existence.
Oh, we can do the cliff notes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so long.
Oh my god, I know. Tallpaw helps out with Doepaw's, Ryepaw's, and Stagpaw's chasing prey portion of the assessment. In the end, Stagpaw catches him. Tallpaw did very well in the chase and is heaped with praise from the warriors.
Great air quotes sort of vibes.
It is a chase, though. It's literally a chase.
I know.
I mean, he also does catch him. There's some real things that happen.
Yeah.
Shrewpaw asks if he can do some hunting. Airflight tells the Tom he'll be doing battle training. Shrewpaw complains, saying Tallpaw won't know any battle moves. Airflight says to teach him some.
Oh my god. Shrewpaw and Tallpaw do battle training. Shrewpaw unsheathes his claws on accident. Tallpaw wins and Shrewpaw is angry, calling him Wormpaw again.
Back in camp, Barkpaw and Tallpaw share a rabbit. They discuss what they learned. Barkpaw asks if Tallpaw and Shrewpaw are having fun training together, and Shrewpaw responds that it's okay, surprising Tallpaw.
Tallpaw sees his mother and wonders when she'll return to her duties. He offers her to come watch him train. Dragonwing tells him to leave her alone.
Tallpaw overhears the queens talking about the visitors. Wee Hen is mentioned.
What?
We're gonna talk about Wee Hen now. We're gonna talk about it in the chapter because I have some thoughts.
Yeah. I just love that. Oh my
I
god.
was so
Wee Hen.
confused at first too, because like the way that I take notes, I was like, wait, am I supposed to know who that is? And it's just been so long, which led to me like reading the clan allegiances like 5 times, being like, there is no Wee Hen in this book. Who are you talking about? And then finally I read the rest of it and was like, oh, okay, it's a new character with such a strange name.
Yeah. And then lastly, Dawnstripe comes over to practice battle moves with Tallpaw. He interrogates her about the Greenleaf visitors. Dawnstripe explains that they patrol and hunt for the clan, and they are like rogues in a way. Tallpaw is puzzled, as he believed all rogues were bad. He wonders if Wind Clan is breaking the warrior code. All of a sudden, there's like a new format in these cliff notes.
Mm-hmm.
And it continued on for the next chapter, but not the one after that. Okay, I again felt like, I don't know, Evelyn, you felt the same. Chapter 8 is like much longer than the others. I feel like
Yeah.
that took the longest to get through.
It's
Yeah.
always the first chapter we do that's long.
So I don't have anything to say about the chase until a while.
Yeah, neither do I.
I was just thinking that the clans should try to do this type of training more often. But I guess we talked about that last time, like adding more variety to the training methods. As Tallpaw was running, he thought he was running as fast as a bird. Which, I guess there are some birds that run fast like a roadrunner.
It's just not what they're known for
I
at
think-
all. Like
No.
as fast as like a
Running-
mouse or a rabbit would make sense.
Or a wee hen.
But birds.
It was running as fast as a bird flies.
I still don't feel like they fly that
Yeah.
fast.
They could have said that though, because like a regular bird that they see is not gonna run fast.
No.
That looked pretty funny.
Well, the next thing I highlighted was after the chase is over, and Tallpaw has been caught in quotes. It says Aspenfall, Larksplash, and Hairflight pounded across the grass, with Shrewpaw trotting behind much less eagerly.
Rupa
Which I thought was a funny line.
Yeah, because Tallpaw did so well at it, even though he's young.
But I like that he's trotting. I don't,
Yeah.
Like, a trot feels so like, I don't know, not a thing that you do when you're sad.
Yeah.
I guess so.
It seems like more of a happy verb.
Rupa says, I would have made it to the rock. Dopot
Yeah.
says, I don't think so. Small paws.
Yeah.
What an insult.
Thought
It's
of it
like
more as a
not-
friendly tease.
It's not how running works.
Maybe Shrewpaw has really long legs but very small paws.
Maybe that's why he got his name. For the size of his paws.
Shrewpaw. What if that was his warrior name? Could a warrior
Just
have...
Shrewpaw?
Yeah, a warrior having paw.
I
feel
know,
like
it's
they'd
not
have to
fair that
change
the
it to-
apprentices just take up that suffix.
Okay, so then they do the battle training. Shrewpaw's literally, like, doesn't have his claws sheathed.
Yeah. I feel like as one of their mentors, like that's the first thing I'd be looking for, to make sure they're sheathing their claws.
Yeah, I mean, also, did they even say it? Like, this is the first time that Tallpaw is doing this, right? Shouldn't they tell him that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they totally should.
I mean, it's
but
not
they
Tallpaw
don't.
that does it, but, like, it should be mentioned.
Tallpaw doesn't
Yeah.
even know. He says, I bet we're supposed to keep our claws sheathed in practice. Well, he thinks that.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know Shrewpaw's like breaking the rules.
It's pretty bad battle training. They're just kind of like, just go for it.
Yeah. There's no instruction.
No, and it's like they fight each other as kids. Like fun. So he already knows how to do that.
And like, I don't see the mentors actually giving instruction at all. Like, they fight, and then it's just over. Like, they spent 2 minutes there. They just leave.
Yeah, they only did like 3 rounds.
What are they even supposed to do all day in that case? It takes 3 minutes to do apprentice training.
So I feel like Tallpaw is like too good at running and like too fast and too good at his battle training for just like this is like is this it was just made an apprentice, right? This is like his second day.
I think so.
Like
Yeah.
he should have been caught by the other apprentices a lot faster.
Well, I think you have to keep in mind, Evelyn, is that his father was making him dig holes. So he might be a lot beefier than the rest of them.
Maybe.
I did like when Shrewpaw was writhing on the grass, it says. And then as it ends, Shrewpaw's like, "You cheated, Wormpaw. Can we get something to eat now?" And Dawnstripe and Hairflight exchange glances, but again say nothing.
And just walk away. I mean...
It's like how cats usually act when there's a bad leader.
Yeah.
But they actually can do something.
Dawnstripe does say Hairflight will have a word with him about his attitude, but it's like, will that happen? Because I don't think it will.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I love how Shrewpaw is like, "You cheated, Wormpaw. Can we get something to eat now?"
Yeah. Like, was it really supposed to be over there, or did he just end it?
Yeah, that's weird. They really barely did any training.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could take up like a whole chapter, and instead it's just like a little chunk.
What do you think about a tabby can't change his stripes? Shrewpaw was born with a burr in his fur.
I mean, nobody's tried to change this tabby's stripes. Nobody's ever told him what he's doing is wrong. Which is like...
And does...
He won't change that. Yep. True.
I do wonder why Shrewpaw is bullying Tallpaw, though. Like, what happened to Shrewpaw to make him like that? Was he really just born with a burr in his fur? Do we know anything about his parents?
I don't remember who his parents are. Do we know that?
Yeah, I don't remember. And isn't Barkpaw his litter mate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like normal and nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes people are just mean, and there's maybe, I don't know if there's anything more to it.
The queens at the beginning of this book are Palebird, Brackenwing, and Meadowslip.
I don't know. I'm sure the wiki would say, but do I have the energy to go look it up? I don't know.
I'm gonna find out.
Well, while you're doing that, they were bounding over tussocks on their way back.
That is not the only time tussocks will be mentioned.
Yeah, there's been lots.
Yeah, I think this is the first one. Has it happened before?
Maybe in the chase scene.
There's a lot of things that I've noticed that are unique to Wind Clan, like a lot of terms and phrases and geographic landmarks, such.
Shrewpaw's parents are Brackenwing and Redclaw.
They sound normal.
Yeah. I do love the image of like Barkpaw just like laying there in the sunshine, tearing flesh from a rabbit carcass. Such a way to phrase that. It could just be like eating a rabbit.
It's so violent.
I felt like there were quite a few things in these 3 chapters where I was like, that's just gross for no reason.
Yeah.
It's so casual.
And pretty much the only notes I had were just like, yep, yucky. Okay.
Shrewpaw and Tallpaw are telling Barkpaw how training was. And then Barkpaw starts talking about learning how to make a dressing for scratches, to draw out infection from rotten wounds. And Tallpaw is like, doesn't think this is an appropriate conversation for the dinner table.
That's funny because he was just like gleefully remarking about how Barkpaw tearing flesh from a rabbit carcass is grosser.
It's way grosser.
They're literally eating this dead rabbit.
I'm like, I don't like when people talk about gross stuff when I'm eating, but like this is not very specific. It's pretty general. Barkpaw's not just like going on and on about infected rotten wounds.
Yeah. It says like
Just mentioned their existence.
Whiteberry's ear has an infected tick bite. But he's not like describing it, and it
No.
doesn't sound that gross.
No, it's not that bad.
So do you think that Shrewpaw like actually likes Tallpaw?
I remember there being a point in the book, I think maybe like when Tallpaw is leaving, where I was like, there's something weird going on here.
Yeah.
Or he like wishes him good luck or something? I don't remember. But I think it's when he's leaving. Oh, he might actually have been bullying him because he liked him the whole time.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And there's also like, it's not like Shrewpaw really has other friends that
No.
much. What a sad situation. What do you think, Evelyn?
Oh, I don't know.
Great analysis.
I know. Why am I even on a podcast? Like, I have no opinions.
And then we have the pale bird stuff.
Yeah, she's still in her depression era.
Yeah.
He needs rest, apparently.
I guess I was kind of wondering if doing an activity like watching Tallpaw's training might help with her situation.
Yeah, I think the rest of the cats are just kind of enabling it at this point. I'm just like, well, she'll just sleep all the time, and then that'll be the end of it.
It says she hasn't been sleeping well, which does kind of seem like an interesting problem for a cat to have.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Brackenwing's overreaction really does not help. Like, he just, like, stops beside her, says one thing, and then she responds, and he says one other thing. Brackenwing leaps out of the meeting hollow and hurries over. And it's like, don't bother Palebird, she needs rest. Like, that's really suspicious, actually. Is Brackenwing poisoning Palebird?
Right, like, can't Tallpaw talk to his mother for, like, 2 seconds?
No, she must sleep.
And then, yeah, Palebird just, like, slinks back to the nursery. Again, how sad.
Yeah, there's a lot wrong in Wind Clan at this point.
Yeah, the culture is really weak. Oh, Wee Handler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His favorite side character.
That's like the best name.
Oh, it's Brackenwing and Meadowslip talking loudly about the visitors that are apparently a secret.
Yeah, for some reason.
I don't know why.
Yeah. If they're talking about it so brazenly and openly, I was surprised Tallpaw hadn't even heard of them before in the 6 moons.
Yeah, I don't know why he doesn't know about them at all. It's also the queens, too. It's not even like just like it's the people he's been living with.
Yeah.
The elders or the warriors he hasn't spent much time with.
Unfortunately, Weehan doesn't come back this summer.
R.I.P. Weehan.
Yeah, it was a harsh, cold season. She died warm and full fed.
Really?
Yeah, that's what the wiki says.
Oh, okay.
There's just like two places where she appears in this book. On page 90 here, and on page 140. So then Tallpaw asks Dawnstripe about them, and she's like, we don't talk about them when they're not here, and especially not outside the clan.
Literally talking about them.
But again, like, why? Yeah.
Pawpaw asks why they come.
They have so many secrets, Wind Clan, that are like they're not allowed to tell any other clans that seem like important knowledge. That also like the other clans should be able to figure out. If suddenly they just have a bunch more cats that are staying with them, and their tunnel systems being built.
It says that they help with the patrols, so like border patrols.
Yeah, and there's just like new grown cats just around. So they would smell different.
You're gonna know.
At least at first they would smell different.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't notice that there's a whole new group of cats in the forest.
Yeah, this is as bad, or even maybe even worse than the tunneling issue. Crazy that they wouldn't know.
We don't actually know why they come to Wind Clan. Like, why would a group of cats just do that?
Yeah, because
I don't know. I guess they're just nomadic.
yeah, I mean, it also says for Greenleaf, like if it was for like winter time or something, when it like made sense that they would need more help and protection, it would make more sense. But Greenleaf is like everything's starting to come back.
It's like
to,
summer
hunker
camp.
down.
Yeah. It is pretty ridiculous that Tallpaw asks these extremely valid questions, and then Dawnstripe is like, you sound like a kid, then changes the subject, and that's how the chapter
5
ends.
seconds ago.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the chapter. Moving on.
Alright, chapter 9. Yeah.
Murray is. Tallpaw is very excited to go on his first stroll. There is some running for fun, but soon Tallpaw realizes how boring it is. Then some tunnelers run out of the ground because there was a cave-in, and Tallpaw has to go in the tunnels as part of his training. It's kind of like detention.
It is. Okay, half a moon later.
Why is that its own bullet point?
I don't know.
Tallpaw is going on his first border patrol. Stagleap and Ryestock are mentioned with their warrior names.
Ooh. Tallpaw interrogates Larksplash about border patrols. She explains they only chase other animals away if it's needed.
Interrogates is a bit of a strong word.
That is how the other cats react, though, to Tallpaw asking valid questions.
Yeah. Tallpaw, Stagleap, and Ryestock race to the Thunderpath border. Stagleap wins, but Tallpaw was right behind him.
The 3 young cats passed the scent line on accident and were very close to the Thunderpath. Dawnstripe is furious.
The patrol smells a dog by the RiverClan border. Stagleap and Tallpaw goof off a little, and Dawnstripe sternly tells them to focus.
Tallpaw and Stagleap briefly discuss the gorge.
Few tunnelers come to the surface. Sangors mentions there was a cave-in.
Tallpaw laments about him and his father growing farther apart. The black and white apprentice wishes his father would accept his path as a more runner.
Sandgors mentions that the tunnel is almost finished, and it is a perfect opportunity for Tallpaw to get basic tunneler's training. Dawnstripe agrees. Tallpaw half panics, then wonders if he might like tunneling after all, if he simply sees what it's like.
The answer is no.
Yep.
No. There was only a stiff vole and a squashed mouse in the pile. Which would you rather have?
Squashed mouse, I think.
I don't know. They both sound... I don't know.
How about you, Simon?
Yeah, I might also choose the squashed mouse.
Yeah, the stiff. Yeah, stiff vole. No, thank you.
The mouse would probably also be stiff, though.
It doesn't mention it though.
Probably. Yeah.
It's
It's
the
probably all
normal
cold,
level of
though.
stiff.
Mm.
Yeah.
I guess the mouse is maybe smaller, so it'd be less of a gross
Or
thing.
maybe it's been squashed enough that it's sort of been tenderized.
Yeah. Or on the other hand, maybe it's squashed because it's so old and it's like,
Oh, rotted.
starting to go
Well,
bad.
I'm
Yeah.
sticking with it.
Oh, we're starting off. Pawpaw is like up at the crack of dawn, excited to go on his first dawn patrol. And that's when he sees the stiff vole and squashed mouse, in case anyone was wondering. We just started talking about that.
I don't know how they knew it was 2 weeks later.
Says, I did see where you would find that.
Or whatever. It's not like it matters.
Yeah, because I was surprised because I didn't think that it would be a whole 2 weeks before Tallpaw even went on patrol.
Yeah, I thought this was like a day or two later.
Yeah.
Well, it could just be his first dawn patrol. Although he would probably still know that they weren't going to check all the borders.
This conversation between Larksplash and Tallpaw is kind of funny. Where Tallpaw is like asking if we can chase the intruder if we see one. And Larksplash is like, it depends on if it's a threat to the clan. Then we chase it.
Yeah.
It's like,
My thought was, what if the threat to the clan is that it's a bulldozer or something? Or a humongous
Yeah, it's
dog.
just
Oh,
like,
no.
that's not inherently true. Like, oftentimes you don't. Like, you have to regroup. You gotta go get more
Yeah.
cats. Something.
yeah.
Not just
I
ready
actually
for
think
anything.
no matter how many cats there are, you should not chase a bulldozer.
I don't know. I feel like if I was dragging a bulldozer in a hole, if like 20 cats came out of the woods and were like yowling at me, I would feel pretty intimidated.
That would be so funny.
Yeah.
Also seems like pretty obvious answers. Like, maybe not, but does Tallpaw really need to ask what to do?
I don't know. Why did they even write this? Like, what is the purpose here?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't really need this.
So then they decide to race some of the cats. Stag leap, dry stalk. They run. It's boring.
Yeah. Not a lot of notes here.
Yeah.
I guess one thing that I did just notice, that we could remark upon, is marking the territory that's along the Thunder Path, and like they mark it probably a few yards away from the Thunder Path.
Yeah, I mean, is it maybe in hope of like keeping the monsters out?
I love the idea
Yeah.
of that. I think maybe they say it's just like for other rogues if they happen to wander across.
Yeah. Then Dawnstripe's really in.
So I was. Go ahead.
No.
What?
I said no.
No. Why?
Well, I was gonna say then Dawnstripe like kind of overreacts about them being close to the Thunder Path.
We get another mention of something being as fast as birds.
Yeah, monsters travel as fast as birds.
Yeah, they are not the fastest thing in the universe.
I think they're faster than birds.
I did think it was interesting. I was kind of wondering about this. Tallpaw's like, where are the monsters? It was deserted. They come later, Stagleap told him.
It feels so ominous.
But it's definitely. I know.
Foreshadowing.
It's like all of a sudden there might be a herd of monsters that comes at certain times.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how driving works.
No, but they do seem to have
It's
picked
early.
up on like the time that people are like leaving for work or something. Like
Yeah.
there are times when there are more cars, but
For sure. But if it's already dawn, like, there should be some cars here and there. It's not going to be totally deserted.
Yeah. Stag Leap climbed a hummock.
Oh, yeah.
And later, Stag Leap bounded from the hummock.
Yeah. I know I googled tussock and hummock when I read them. And now I don't exactly remember what the difference is.
There's 3 mentions of hummocks in this short section.
well, the it says a hillock, a knoll, or mound, which is not much more helpful.
No. But I guess there would be like several of them, like a field that's just looks bumpy,
bumpy
basically.
field.
And then a tussock is like grass.
A small area of grass that is thicker or longer than the grass growing around it.
A clump
Yeah.
of grass.
Mhm.
This is pretty boring. Like, I've read scenes like this so often. They're just doing a patrol.
Yeah, it seems weird, like this late in the
Yeah.
series, that we're getting this much description on patrol.
Yeah. Like, how many times do we need to read? He stopped and sprayed a gorse stem half-heartedly.
Is really strong. He's wholeheartedly spraying a gorse stem.
Stag Leap.
So then they're at the gorge, and they also have a scent line at the top of the gorge.
In case the fish leap up and try to cross their border.
Yeah, like, there's a way down to the gorge at some point, right? But, like, do you really need a scent line across the whole thing? Isn't it just like a cliff?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a cliff.
Yeah, I mean, it does say, like, the water is far below, winding between the cliffs. And then they hear this noise, and it's the cave-in.
Ugh.
Yeah. So they all survive. They don't seem to be too shaken up, especially not Sangors.
That's just another day.
Yeah, he kind of even likes it.
Yeah. Sandgors touched his nose to Tallpaw's head, which is kind of unusual and, like, overly affectionate coming from Sandgors.
Yeah, what is that?
And then we get this ridiculous explanation for why there was a cave-in.
You don't like this excuse?
Too much sunshine, he explained matter-of-factly, makes the soil shrink, rocks drop, and we get cave-ins.
I mean, another thing, reading this again after I've read all of these chapters, they mention, I think in the next chapter, that he asks what they're supposed to do with the rocks. And they're like, oh, we just shove them in the walls. It's like, okay, so are the rocks that are dropping the ones that you are shoving into the wall?
Yeah. I can't get how, like, rocks would, like, reinforce it, though.
To an extent, you can just shove every rock you find, though, back inside the dirt, and it won't do anything.
I don't know how common it is. I don't really get the whole rocks dropping thing, though.
It was just like, yeah, I don't know. The soil shrinks. Okay, so the soil shrinks because there's not enough moisture in it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess because it's dry, it's like it gets all loose and then just falls. I don't know. Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
In fact, it would make sense when he says we sure could use a few days of rain. But if it's really rainy, you think then you get like a mudslide or something.
Yeah.
Like that seems more dangerous.
Yeah, like that's usually how those happen.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's not really like it gets dry like underground. Like, how deep are these tunnels anyway? Because if
It
they're
would
like,
have to be a pretty serious drought for the underground to be getting dry.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. But I think they are pretty deep because they go all the way from the top of the moor down to the gorge, which is like a cliff. I don't know what it's like.
yeah. So
At least 30 feet, maybe.
yeah, I mean, if it was like 1 foot deep, I could understand like getting a cave in from the soil being too dry, but no, I don't buy it.
Oh, they've been digging all night.
How are they even digging that deep? Like, is it not just a ton? Is it not just rock
I mean,
down there?
I feel like
I
this
don't
is just what every episode of this has been so far and will remain to be. Just how do these tunnels work? Why are they doing it?
Yeah. I mean, they just invented the tunnels just so there's this conflict with his dad, right? Like that's got to be the reason.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's like part of
It's
why
ill
he
thought
sets
out.
off on this quest. That doesn't really do much of anything.
It's like the architect style of writing instead of the gardener style.
Oh. I guess we still haven't had any clue of what Tallstar's revenge is.
Yeah.
It takes a while until we get any sort of revenge happening.
Yeah. Tunnelers apparently have been digging all night.
Yeah,
They're also
why?
nocturnal.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what time of day it is in underground, but
I just feel like we never even really see them in camp. They're just kind of always out of the tunnels, no matter what.
yeah.
Yeah. Like they don't need to work this
No,
much.
I mean, also it's just like they don't do anything. What are they contributing to the clan? They
I
dig
know.
tunnels and they go back to eat food.
Yeah. There's supposed to be like rabbits to catch in the winter.
Yeah, but that's mentioned like 2 times, and then they just drop that.
And then Paw has to spend time in the tunnels because Heatherstar wants every warrior to spend a day underground.
Which, yeah, I agree with if they're gonna keep the tunneling. But do we ever see any of the other cats do that either? Ever hear about any other cat going underground?
Like Shrewpaw.
I don't think so. Yeah. But I guess they got rid of the tunnels pretty soon after this. Also, like more than a day. It should be like several, like
Yeah.
way more than a day, and vice
But
versa.
also there should be some sort of like
Tunnelers.
training that they do before they're just in the tunnel as well.
Yeah, like what to do if there's a
Just-
cave
Yeah, any kind
in.
of
It seems kind of
information.
extremely important.
Like how to know which way to go.
Yeah, but they're truly just like, yep, go down in there.
Hmm.
We'll figure it out. We'll come to you.
As he's going in, he does think there can't be more than one cave in today,
I
surely.
feel like if there was already a cave in today, the chances of another seem more likely.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah,
if the
seems
sunshine
pretty
was
odd.
the real reason.
Mm-hmm.
Which it wasn't.
Right, chapter 10. First they clean up the cave-in, and then they continue in the tunnel to the gorge, which they built lower than the level of the river, so water came in, and they ran away. The tunnelers had a great time, but not Tallpaw.
Yeah.
They really failed at this whole tunnel building thing. Okay. The wiki summary. Tallpaw, Sandcourse, and Mist Mouse go down into the tunnels.
Course shows off some of the skills he has as a tunneler.
Tallpaw is impressed.
Mist Mouse, Sandcourse, and Tallpaw dig the tunnel to meet up with Hickory Nose and Woollytail. Sandcourse explains what to do with the things like dirt and stones.
Not that there's anything else down there. The two groups meet in the middle of where the cave-in was.
Sandgorse excitedly explains that he hit the clay seam recently, and the tunnel from the high moor to the river will be done very soon.
Tallpaw learns a little about the changing of air thickness. He realizes he is suffocating a little.
That sounds so much scarier than what happens in the chapter.
The group starts to dig through the clay. Pawpaw notices the sound of the river is louder.
Tunnelers and Tawpaw escape from the tunnels. Wait, it doesn't
Wait.
say why.
Yeah, it's missing a huge, like, the climax of
It's
the
like
chapter.
arguably the only thing that happens in this chapter is the only thing not in here.
Why didn't they say it?
The tunnelers explain that they got to the water too soon, causing the tunnel to flood. The tunnelers are ecstatic, while Tawpaw is absolutely terrified. I love the way they wrote that, but I feel like the problem wasn't that they got to the water too soon, it was that they got to the water.
Yeah. Angors in particular is excited and comments to Tallpaw how the young Tom will never want to be a moor runner again. He tells Tallpaw to get cleaned up and rest so he can continue digging.
Where do they even think they're gonna dig?
Read the room, Sandgors.
The tunnel is full of water.
So they go in. It's very unpleasant.
Yeah, how claustrophobic for real.
It's cold and dark. Talking apparently, Sandgors can tell ThunderClan paw steps from WindClan when you're listening in the tunnels and you can hear cats walking on the surface. Apparently, ThunderClan high step like deer. When they pass overhead on the way to the Moonstone, they prance over us like they own the moor. Typical ThunderClan.
Do we ever hear about deer other times?
Yeah,
just
so that's
thinking.
kind of interesting.
The book introduces a lot of new animals that, like, yes, it makes sense that they're there, but we've never talked about them before.
Yeah. There was once, I think, in the Apprentice's Quest, where there's like a dead deer. But I really like seeing mentions of deer.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So ThunderClan might just walk that way because they usually have to walk over branches and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Funny how they really deride ThunderClan for the way they walk.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they mention again, like, we can track them underground. We know exactly when they arrive and when they leave WindClan territory. I was thinking they could have really used the tunnels when ShadowClan drove WindClan out of their territory.
It didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
I mean, also, like, they weren't. Tallstar knew about the tunnels when that happened. Did they even?
Yeah, the
Did they
same
even,
person.
Like, check? Because they're sort of living in a tunnel when they finally find them then, too.
Yeah. I guess the tunnels are just unusable by that point.
Or they were just created for this one story.
Well, yeah.
Woollytail is a great name, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So did Hickory Nose and Woollytail get trapped on the other side?
Oh, I don't think they're trapped.
Confused.
I think it was just kind of a tunnel all the way through, and then in the middle of the tunnel there was a cave-in, so some of the cats were on one side, some on the other. But the tunnel kept going, so they could have just come out a different way, probably.
So it's not the tunnel that goes right to the gorge that they've been working on?
Oh, well, maybe it is. I don't know.
They don't seem concerned about it.
Because, like,
Yeah, they don't
No.
seem concerned about it.
I mean, there's all these different turns that you could take, so I guess it's not just right where they're working. Because if it was the one, the gorge, then I'm sure, like, there's no other side.
That would
here.
have been more of a big deal.
Sandgors does tell Tawpaw, if there's a cave-in, you never leave your companion. It's the most important rule of tunneling.
Yeah, one tunneler dies,
Wow.
two tunnelers.
Remember how he dies?
Oh no!
Yeah. Or also two tunnelers die.
Yeah, that could happen. The fact that they're saying is about a tunneler dying, like, it's way too dangerous.
It's
We're
not worth
talking
it.
life and death here. Ugh, what a terrible job.
Hmm.
So they're digging, and then Alpha has to spread out the dirt so that there's like room to walk in.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any tools or opposable thumbs or hands, so just kind of has to like push and drag it.
Ugh.
Yeah, this when we really get into the descriptions, there were so many things where I was like, how is he doing this? He has paws.
Yeah.
And this is the thing where they're shoving rocks into the wall.
Are they taking any of the dirt to the surface? Yeah, they are shoving it into the wall.
I think eventually, if the tunnel is too small, they'll have to just, like a groundhog digs their hole, and then there's like a pile of dirt and rocks outside of the hole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can't keep all the dirt down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a long distance to move all that dirt.
Yep.
back
That's
to
why
the
it's a
surface.
bad idea.
There are many reasons it's a bad idea.
This is like serious manual labor. Like he's not cold anymore,
Finally.
so he's just like covered in dirt now.
He wanted to.
Talk about worm paw.
This is how they get worms. Eating so much dirt.
Yeah, the tunnelers probably all have worms.
They're just like they would be so gross in comparison to all the other cats. And like, don't they share a den? Do the Moorrunners and the tunnelers have different dens?
Probably.
I think maybe.
It's just like, can you imagine if you're just like a regular cat? Just behaving like a regular cat. And then the cat sleeping next to you is just disgusting all of the time.
Especially think of Woolly Tail, because like the woolly tail would hold a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Talpa once again asks a perfectly reasonable question, which is, won't it collapse again if we clear away the blockage? But Sangor says all the earth's fallen that's going to fall.
Yeah, and then they're like, do you hear loose dirt or falling stones? And there's no creaking above. The earth will hold. But like, surely if there is creaking above and stuff, they leave because there's about to be a cave-in. So you don't know until it happens.
Yeah. So Talpa smells some heather. And apparently there's an air hole ahead. A small crack up through the earth to the moor. So I do kind of wonder how high up that is and how much solid earth is between them and the surface.
And I do see this is just like a totally different tunnel over here.
They don't even take a break after cleaning up the cave-in. They're just going straight to the
Gotta get
gorge.
through that clay seam.
Yeah.
Just what do they think is gonna happen? What is the alternative to this tunnel flooding? What is this tunnel gonna do? How is
What's
Yeah.
the point?
Paul? Did we ever get an explanation on this part of the tunnel? Because like the rest of them, I do understand the point, but truly, what is the purpose of this? It's either going to be under the water and it's going to flood, useless, or it's going to be above the water, and then what? You can't swim.
Yeah, then what?
They can't like.
Yeah.
They can't just go across to RiverClan. Also, RiverClan would see it.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we can clearly see this hole in the cliff that
There's
wasn't there
just
before.
Pawedcats
That's suspicious.
standing in it all the time, staring at it.
Yeah. So, I would imagine if you could hear the river, that might be a sign that you're too low.
Also, that
You can just like
the
hear it
clay's
right
wetter
there.
here.
Bad
So, like,
sign.
Yeah, bad sign.
Yeah. Extremely obviously bad sign.
The first ever tunnel from high moor to the river. Why?
Yeah.
Think about why it's the first ever.
Ugh, there's so much dirt. The tunnelers were tossing clods so fast that Tallpaw hopped back to avoid them.
I know.
Slimy bear,
Uh,
mud round rat.
and they do say a few more scoops and we'll be in the gorge. It's like they didn't just, if it's just a few more scoops, just finish
Also,
it.
a hard wall of mud slapped Tallpaw's muzzle. He yelped, half in pain, half surprised. As the earth throbbed around him.
Yeah, what?
Well, Sandgorse is having a splendid
Oh
time.
boy, oh boy.
He's like, this is what I always dreamed of. You working beside me, digging a new tunnel together. Tunnel that may be the one to change WindClan's destiny forever. Well, hey, he's not wrong.
I guess.
Sandwich just feels like such like an old man who's like, if you don't work until you die, you do anything. Kind of vibes of just like, girl,
Yeah.
that is not good. Stop it. It's the only time that he seems happy is when he is digging tunnels that do nothing. And the rest of the time he's miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It says we'll hit air any moment. Not air.
But then the tunnelers paused. A long, mournful creak
Yes, and they
echoed along the
stopped.
passage.
Like, you just said, well, there's no sound happening, so we're safe. And then a sound happens and you freeze and take time to talk. Don't
Yeah.
just say run right away and start leaving.
It has to say StarClan help us
Mhm.
first so that we know that it's bad.
But we just established it was bad like
Yeah.
a page ago.
Run! Run! Then they
Yeah.
take roll call. As they're running away.
Yeah, like everybody knows to run. Just start running. What are you guys
This is
like? How do you not all die in cave-ins all the time?
Okay, so then they get out. They all survived.
So I don't really get like where they were digging, and then you'd think that the water level in the tunnel wouldn't go above the water level of the river. So I don't know why they have to like run. Like, was the tunnel they were working on like downhill and then a little uphill to get to the river? Is it that deep? Because if it's
I mean, it wouldn't
going
necessarily have to be downhill if it was just like straight in line with the river for a while.
yeah, I guess that must have been what it was, because like I was kind of picturing like a diagonal line going down where the water isn't actually gonna chase them up. But it must have been like more horizontal.
Yeah, I mean, it could also still be like pretty diagonal down, but just like they went real deep down into the river.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, they're not even that upset. They're just like annoyed.
Yeah, in the meantime, Tallpaw is traumatized, as he should be.
And Higurino apparently was counting the tail length and was sure they had 2 more before they reached the river, which does not fit with Willytail saying there were just like a few, like they were like right
Yeah,
there.
I took that to mean like 2 tail lengths above the level of water, but it doesn't sound like that.
It also just doesn't seem like enough. I would want to be more than 2 tail lengths above
Yeah,
the water if I was building a pointless tunnel.
like if it's
Yeah.
a flood,
If it rains.
it's not just like a river just out there. It's in a gorge. Like if there's a flood, it'll go really high.
Yeah. I really don't get what they're gonna do at the entrance of this tunnel, though. There's nothing to do there.
No, it's so pointless.
They're not gonna go in the water.
Yeah.
Maybe they can throw their garbage through the hole into the water. So they're glad now because the flooding will let them know where the river is, so they know how deep to go next time.
Yeah, I guess.
If you really need it that bad.
So then they are gonna get Plumclaw and just keep going. They say we'll be through to the gorge by moon high. So first of all, they're planning on like pulling an all-nighter and like basically being up for more than 24 hours to
Aren't
finish
they already
this.
pulling all-nighter?
Second of all, how are they gonna dig a tunnel that fast?
Aren't they already here all night and then they're gonna do it again?
Yeah,
48 hours
Yeah.
straight.
it's too much. Go to bed. And if they're digging,
But I just don't get like we talked all about like how long it takes and like how hard it is. How would they just do a whole new
because
one
you can't use the
that
old
fast?
one. You can't just
I
like
mean, they can
dig
go
into
by
the ceiling
water.
of the old one to make it go higher.
They can like use the progress of go to where the water came to and like make a branch off from that and go up from there. It's not totally from scratch, but
Yeah. But still, it's a
Yeah.
lot.
yeah.
And then Tallpaw says enough is enough.
Yeah, the things that I highlighted are Tallpaw says, but it's dangerous. And Tallpaw's heart seemed to beat in his throat, not if you know what you're doing. Sandgorse's eyes were bright with exhilaration. And then, like a few sentences later, Sandgorse says, but you saw how it was. Didn't you feel it? The excitement, the danger. He just said it wasn't dangerous.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Also, it definitely was.
Yeah, he does know what he's doing, and it's still dangerous, as you
And then
yourself said.
he died.
Yeah.
And then Tallpaw's like, why don't you get it? Just because you love tunneling doesn't mean I do. I'm not you. I thought we were all going to die down there.
Yeah, you
What
tell
an
them.
outburst. Well, I mean, that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over. Well, that was a
Yes.
lovely time.
It's good to get back to it.
Favorite and least favorite parts of the episode?
My least favorite was the patrol. It was so boring.
Yeah. Just the long patrol chapter. My favorite part
I would have to
is we had.
concur.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree there.
I think so. I think
Yeah, I
we
think
just
we're all
agree on
probably gonna have the
everything.
scariest part of the episode the same as well.
Yeah, they almost
Yeah.
died in the cave-in.
Being in the cave. I mean, running away from the water, it wasn't that scary because, like, you don't actually think that anything bad's gonna happen, but just being in the tunnels sounded kind of scary.
Mhm.
Like, you can't really walk properly. Like,
Yeah.
you can't know where to go. That's why he's, like, running into the walls.
I did really like what you pointed out, Estrella, right at the end, where Sandgorse contradicted himself, though. That was maybe my second
It
favorite
was pretty
part.
good. It's so immediate. It's not even
It's
like
not
a whole chapter that goes by. It's instantly.
Yeah. Okay, anything else to say?
Well, how far in this book are we?
I have the physical book right here, and I realized that it's now, we're at 100 pages. A little past 100 pages into the book. It is 116.
So we're probably like a fourth the way. Yeah, this is definitely going to take longer because it's, Super Edition.
Oh yeah, you haven't done, this is the first Super Edition, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of book to go.
It'll start moving more
Yeah,
soon,
45 chapters.
I think.
Yeah, I guess we'll get the visitors soon.
Adventuring.
The abolishment of the tunnels. Yeah. Which, I mean, honestly, like, his adventure That doesn't come until
Yeah.
like the second half
I
of the
feel like
book.
this is
right?
just how most of the super editions are. Like the first like 100-ish pages is like whoever they're the super edition about is like really young and like learning stuff that's kind of pointless if you already know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then after that you get into the beef of the book.
The meat and
Yes.
potatoes, as they say. What's a warrior's simile?
I'm trying to think, what was that fun bird that we were
The
talking
birds.
about that was it was last episode? There was like a bird that they ate that was weird. Lapwing.
Lapwing.
Maybe like
Well, that doesn't have 1 or 3 syllables, so I don't know.
a haunch of the rabbit.
Okay. Well,
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Bye.